like 22 was so exciting because of what we just talked about. You know, the midseason turnaround, some classic series, back-to-back 7-gamers, and they hadn't been to the finals in 12 years. And it was like, finally, this group is breaking through. Of course, we knew it was a big hurdle with Golden State, but I think the Celtics matched up with them well, and obviously had that series kind of where they wanted it through 3 games. And so, like, that was kind of a whole nother thing. Whereas you said it last year, and specifically this year, it is win or bust. It's almost like, I don't want to say not fun, because it is fun. You're in the NBA Finals, but there's so much pressure.
It's awful. It's
well, yeah,
fun.
you know, as a fan,
it's absolute hell.
Yeah, especially with this build-up too. It's like it's just this intrusive thoughts just keep coming in. And I was thinking the other day of like you and I have both kind of grown up in the glory days of Boston sports, and I don't think I can remember a can't lose series like this. Like, whenever the Patriots were in the Super Bowl, it was going to be a massive story if they lost, right? Like, it was the nation would rejoice if they lost. So there was certainly pressure in that, and coming from someone who lives outside of Massachusetts now, the bragging rights thing is a big deal. But this feels like the most pressure packed I've ever felt it. Is that crazy to say?
I mean, definitely for the Celtics since the 08, the first, iteration of this Big Three idea.
And having the Lakers there certainly helped,
Right. I mean, that obviously is always going to add to it. I look at this run as what makes this different compared to 2022 is like, when you look at the course of NBA champions, there's always the playoff scars, right? You need to go through pain before you reach the top of the mountain. Luka right now and the Mavs are experiencing that 2022 Celtics run. Like, if they lose the finals, it'll be brutal for them. And but that will just be part of their journey to the top of the mountain. The Celtics have already gone through that. They've had the heartbreak. They've had the losses at home in Game 7. They've watched a team celebrate a title on their home floor. Now is their opportunity, as their 2 best players are inching closer to their NBA prime years. This is when NBA history says, okay, if you are going to break through and win a title, you have to go through the pain. You have to have guys that are right around this 26 through 28 range. You need a all-NBA top 5 guy. You need a dominant point differential.
Yep.
Like, every box, the Celtics have checked every box, and this is the final test. So it's like, if they still can't do it after everything that they've done, I mean, I'm probably not going to be around much longer. Like, that'll be it for me. But I mean, you just hope that they understand, like, this is their time to finish the job. And what's at stake? I mean, you have legacy. I mean, what this does for the Tatum and Brown Celtics legacy is insane. The conversations you now then start to need to have as Jayson Tatum as a player and everything he's accomplished before 27 is big time, like, all-time discussions that I don't think people are necessarily ready to have. So it's like, they have so much to gain and so much to lose. I'm going to be sick every dribble. I'm going to be losing my mind.
Golly, you're speaking my truth right now, for sure. Like, I thought about the 08 team, because obviously for me that's the only thing I can compare it to winning the championship. And obviously that was a legacy team, right? 3 Hall of Famers who needed that validation and to win the NBA title. And I think about Paul Pierce specifically, lifetime Celtic, and I'm like, man, he deserved that title so bad. Like, he deserved it for all that he had gone through. And I kind of feel the same way about Tatum. And then I sit back and think, like, Tatum's like 7 or 8 years younger than Paul Pierce was there. I guess 6 or 7 years younger. Like, and we feel like he's already gone through that. And it, like you said, like, it is his time. And I don't know. We've had some breaking news right before we've gone on the air. We've got some Porzingis stuff that we'll talk about. But I don't know if you saw this, that there is an arrest warrant out for Jayson Tatum because he did not tell Jaylen Brown how much he appreciated him yesterday. So thoughts on that, Greenie, and his
I'm excited
his very
for that
muted
first take
celebration.
Yeah, I'm excited for that first take segment that I'm sure we'll get about that.
It's unbelievable. So it's first off, this was a disgrace to the name Greenie because it was Greenberg who put it up, and like
no relation, by the way. I do not claim.
Disavow.
I'm rebuking that Greenberg. We are not the same.
Disavow, huge disavow. And like they show the video too, and I had remembered the point where they're kind of like all, putting their hands on Jaylen and everything, but I was like, oh, I don't remember Tatum. Was he like sulking in the background of this? And no, he's like just out of reach with a giant grin on his face. And like credit to ESPN, they put in Udonis Haslem, who's the only one who's not going to say, "What the hell are you talking about, Greenie?" He's like, "Yeah, no, I think you're right." And I'm like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, and the best part is when they spotlit him. They highlighted just him, and as they're saying the words, oh, he just didn't look as happy as everybody else, is when he had the biggest. So it was like some North Korean propaganda.
Truly,
it's like you are openly gaslighting me. I can see with my own eyes what is happening, and you are telling me the opposite, let alone the guy who, had certain remarks to say about Bill Russell is the guy telling me that Tatum isn't happy. It was as textbook gaslighting as you're going to find.
It's crazy. And, obviously, we're all, as Celtics fans, we're all sick of this, man. Like, Jaylen and Jayson, they like each other. They might not be the best of friends, but, like, who cares? They like each other, and they're coexisting very well, and we're seeing it year by year. So you talk about the legacy talk that we'll be able to have if they win the series, but just as someone who's now been through it for, 7 years now, how sick are you of that narrative?
Part of me is very sick of it. And as I've gotten older, I've tried to become less and less triggered. I feel like this break between the finals has been a bit of a relapse for me, just because we're getting it from all angles. Everywhere. But then the other part of me almost looks at it as a sign of respect, right? Like, they don't do this for players that aren't worthy of being in this upper echelon. Like, we heard it with LeBron. You hear it with Steph. You hear it with KD, you heard it with Giannis. Like, if this is just the requirement of these truly elite of the elite players that, you heard it with Jokic, like you have to win for it to stop. And I don't think you should run from that standard, but I also think you can do both, right? You can hold players to this extremely high standard and be critical, and then also not blatantly lie on television to my face when I can see, there's somewhere has to be a medium of it, but I think these networks know that to get ratings, just mention Tatum, rile up Celtics fans because we're going to be defensive about it. And the only way it stops forever is winning. And then once they win, even if you want to discredit that by saying it was an easy run or they didn't play anybody, I don't care. I'm still looking at an 18th championship banner. Yeah. So it's like all that stuff just bounces off on you. But until you win, it's like you don't truly have a trump card without a title.
Yeah.
We are Rogue Media Sports.